Cowboys Seahawks coming at you tomorrow right here on Fox. Chuck Miketinac making the trip up to the Emerald City for us, and he now joins us from CenturyLink Field. Chuck, a desperate 0-2 Seattle team, and they just played Monday night all the way in Chicago. Does that make them any more vulnerable than they'd usually be?
Yeah, Chase, I think normally it really does. I mean, anytime you have one team, the Cowboys, getting the extra day of work, and then they're playing at home, so you factor in all the rest and wear and tear on the body, the extra day to heal up, I don't think there's any question that the Cowboys have a decided advantage in that regard. The problem is that Seattle's 0-2, they're coming back home, and they are going to be super desperate. Obviously, they do not want to go down 0-3 to start the season. CenturyLink, one of the toughest stadiums to play in the entire NFL. So, I think it's going to be a wash. You got a desperate team, you got a rested team, and we'll see what gives tomorrow. But I really think the Seahawks are going to come out like a pack of wild wolves tomorrow, looking for that first win.
And speaking of pack of wild wolves, we saw the Cowboys' defensive line showing out last week. How big of a role do you think they play in this one against a struggling Seattle offensive line?
Well, I think it's interesting, Chase. Both of these offensive lines are struggling, and you could talk about the Cowboys' defensive line, and one of the biggest reasons why Dallas has the fourth best defense in the entire NFL right now. But really, it's a three-layer deal. I mean, the linebackers are playing great, the DBs are playing well, and the rich get richer. It looks like Xavier Woods, their starting safety who got hurt during training camp, is going to be available tomorrow. So we're going to expect to see some rotational stuff going on with the safeties. And then, some guys were limited this week, Sean Lee being one of them. He's expected to play. I think the Dallas defense is licking its chops, looking at this Seattle offense with a chance to do some really serious damage against these guys tomorrow.
Now to the Seattle defense. A lot of talk surrounding Earl Thomas possibly coming to the Cowboys just before this season. The Seahawk did not practice again yesterday. If he doesn't play, what effect do you think that's going to have on the Seahawk pass defense?
Well, it's really interesting, right? I mean, here's a guy, Earl Thomas, that I think the Cowboys coveted during the offseason. He clearly wanted to be with the Cowboys. Then he's missed a couple of days of practice this week for quote-unquote personal reasons. But, I don't know, Chase. I mean, the Forward Star Telegram says he's going to play tomorrow, and you're talking about a very veteran player who has played a lot of games in this league, probably needs practice reps just to keep his body in tune. But in terms of, football IQ and what Earl Thomas brings to the table, if he plays tomorrow, I doubt very seriously he's going to miss a step. He's that kind of a player. So we'll see if indeed he does play tomorrow, and then we'll see even further if after tomorrow's game, if the Cowboys and Seahawks can't work something out and get Earl Thomas to Dallas.
Yeah, maybe he'll be back in the locker room again. Jerry Jones said earlier this week he thinks they can continue to let Dak Prescott run the ball. He had a career-high 45 yards rushing last week. How much do you think we're going to see Dak on the move Sunday?
Obviously that's a game-to-game situation. And, early on in the season, it looks like the Cowboys wide receivers are having a harder time getting open. That's been probably, that drum's been beaten a million times. Then you're talking about, the problems that the Cowboys have had up front with Travis Frederick being out. You've got a rookie playing over on the right side. So, that's a weapon that Dak is going to have to use whether he likes it or not. I know he wants to stay in the pocket. He wants to get out of the pocket and look downfield to throw the football. But, hey, if guys aren't open, you got to tuck it and go. So, with as talented as this Seattle defense can be, I mean, they made marked improvements from week 1 to week 2. And they showed out pretty well against the Bears last week. I would think, just on the surface, that, there are going to be times where Dak's going to have to tuck it up and go.
I think Cowboys fans seeing that CenturyLink Field logo behind you right now might bring back some bad memories. I think you remember 2016 preseason Tony Romo going down. What was your reaction, if you can go down memory lane, to that time when you saw that play? Did you know or have any idea that'd be a start of a new era?
No, I don't think anybody did at the time, but I will say this, obviously it was sad to see Tony get hurt again in a similar fashion as what knocked him out the previous time. But all I can tell you was we were at training camp that year, and Dak was getting a lot of snaps, Romo was getting a lot of snaps, and Dak clearly looked like the better quarterback even before Romo got hurt. Dak completed 7 or 8 passes in a row in that first preseason game out in Los Angeles, and it's been Katie bar the door. Now we just got to see if we can get some other people to go along with Dak, i.e. the receivers need to step up, the tight ends need to step up, and clearly the offensive line has to be better than what they've been the last 2 days.
All right, sounds good, Chuck. Looking forward to your coverage tomorrow. Go get you some seafood.